Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. The Giants got their first win of the season and Jaxson Dart's first start. This was a game that we were in the lead the entire game. We led the entire game today. And this is the first time I've seen this in years where the Giants actually kept the lead the whole game and pulled out a win. Now, of course, the big elephant in the room, the giant in the room, the elephant in the room is that Malik Nabers is hurt. Malik Nabers is hurt, and he's hurt bad. He's got an injury. He tore his ACL on a free play where Dart, the rookie quarterback, draws the guy off sides. They jump, and we end up getting a free play, and Malik Nabers, unfortunately, is trying to go up for the ball and tears his ACL. Man, he's gonna be done for the season most likely. And it just stinks because this offense, while this offense wasn't explosive today as far as like huge plays down the field, this offense looked like it was more on schedule than it's ever been. And this offense looked like we would finally be able to get into a rhythm. But it just seems like this team is cursed. It really seems like this team is cursed. And, Malik Nabers is going to be out for the season with the torn ACL. Now, let me first go over Dart's stats. He was 13 for 20, 111 yards and a touchdown. Also pitched in 54 rushing yards on 10 attempts and a touchdown. So 2 touchdowns today from Jaxson Dart. Again, Dart could have had more passing yards probably if Malik Nabers stayed healthy. Also, he had 2 downfield passes that were pass interferences that just didn't, that weren't completed because they were pass interference. And then he also had, of course, those 2 short fields because Dexter Lawrence, and I'm going to get to this defense in general, and Drew Phillips both got interceptions where they returned them inside the 5-yard line. So Jaxson Dart didn't have the heaviest of lifts today. And I'll just focus on Dart a little bit before I start talking about other people because this is his first game. This is our possible franchise future quarterback. I would say the vibe test he passed. He looks under pressure. He looks composed under pressure. Didn't look like this was too much for him. Everything that all of his, supporters said in the media and his coaches in college and everybody, he looked poised. He looked relaxed. Wasn't scared to run. Wasn't scared to run into defenders. Had a hamstring issue for a little while, but it looked good for the most part. He did not force the ball downfield. He did take a shot where, again, Slayton should have been open for a walk-in touchdown, and we ended up having to settle for 3. So that was actually a good penalty from that Chargers defender. But did his job, didn't do more than what he was asked to do, completed those short passes, completed almost every clutch, third down pass that's been completed against us for the entire season so far. Hit Darius Slayton on a slant route, I think, or it may have been a mini post, but a slant route. On 2nd and 17, picked up that first down, picked up a ton of first downs with his legs. So Jaxson Dart today had a game, really good game, really efficient game, managed the game well, and the defense did their thing. So next I want to talk about Cam Skattebo. Skattebo had a 3.2 yard average, and he had a huge effect on this game, though. More than anything, he had a huge effect on this game. So he had that 3.2 yard average on 25 carries. He had 79 yards, but these 79 yards mattered. They mattered when he needed. He got a ton of 5-6 yard carries. He got a ton of first down carries. He had a ton of times where he should have been tackled for a loss and he picked up 3 yards, or he should have been tackled for no gain and he turned it into 6 yards. So Cam Skattebo, the stats don't show it, but he had a good game today. He had a couple of plays where he just got tackled in the backfield because they were kind of keying in on it because they were like, they're continuing to pass it off to him. Singletary pitched in 28, and the Dart effect is in effect. The Dart effect is in effect. Jaxson Dart enters this team, and this team we right off the bat. Let me pull up the total yards. We run for 161 yards, so I think that's pretty good. Before I get to the defense, let's get to the defense. Because the receivers didn't do much today. They made some clutch catches. Wandale should have had a ball that was in the end zone that he dropped. Tough pass, tough catch for him, but should have had that. But let's talk about the defense. So today, man, this defense, they were working against a backup offensive line pretty much because Joe Alt went out, I think, in the second quarter, maybe the end of the first quarter. And Joe Alt has been like, I hope that Joe Alt can get back. I saw him in a walking boot, and he's been amazing for them this year. But I don't wish bad on the Chargers. They've been fun to watch this season. So hopefully Joe Alt can get back and get back to playing at the level he was. But now they have a complete backup offensive line out there, and the Giants took full advantage of it. Now, the sacks won't say what we did. We sacked him twice, but we hit him. It had to be over 10 times today we hit him. I mean, it had to be over 10 times. We harassed this guy all day. We had some errant throws. We had short throws. We had long throws. We had throws that got tipped up in the air. And that's really what caused these 2 interceptions is just errant throws. Now, the first interception was Dex just getting his hand up, swatting the ball, catching it, and almost returning it for a touchdown. Dex at 300, because, guys, people keep calling Dexter Lawrence 340 pounds. When he first got into the league, he was 6'4", 340. So right now, Dex has to be 350 because he looks a lot bigger. He might be 355, 360. So this guy at 350 pounds returned this interception like 40 yards and almost scored. And then, of course, we couldn't get in the end zone there. And then Andrew Phillips does the same thing. Returns it inside the 5, and I think we may have scored right there. But may have been another. I think that may have been the drive that we ended up not kicking a field goal, and Wandale ended up dropping that pass in the end zone. So we didn't capitalize on those turnovers, but we did stop them from scoring on those turnover drives. And again, the pass rush was all over Justin Herbert. The DBs today played really well. Shout out to Andrew Phillips, who I put out a joke tweet. I put out a tweet saying that Andrew Phillips is Darnay Holmes wearing number 22. I was joking, and I ended up quote tweeting it saying, like, I'm obviously joking because Drew Phillips has already shown more than Darnay Holmes has. But shout out to Drew Phillips because he showed up today and he balled out. He had a ton of pass breakups. He had 4. I'm looking at it. 4 passes defense and an interception, and should have scored a touchdown on that interception. So he was all over the place. Brian Burns continues to be a monster. Thibodeau got another sack. So it's seeming like both of these guys, Burns and Thibodeau, are going to be close to that 10 sack. Burns is already at 5. Thibodeau, I think, maybe at 3. So they're going to both be close to double-digit sacks. And Abdul Carter, while he has no passes defense, he has no sacks. He has 1 tackle, but Abdul Carter has the most impactful 1 tackle game that I have ever seen a player have. He has the most, because he hit Justin Herbert probably about 4 or 5 times. He pressured him a bunch. Abdul Carter continues to be a pressure king. Not as many sacks. He has a half sack on the season, but Abdul Carter did his thing. Dexter Lawrence, again, a guy who didn't get a sack, but got a bunch of pressure, got a bunch of hits, and got that interception. So he did his thing. And overall, listen, I am not pleased with Shane Bowen as an overall defensive coordinator. But one thing I will say is when the offense has been performing the way it has been performing for years, we're looking at Shane Bowen before anybody else to say you need to fire Shane Bowen. Like, let's be real. So Shane Bowen, nice game today. He switched up some tendencies. He had a lot more press going on. He sent some blitzes after him. He switched up the tendency. So solid game by Shane Bowen, holding his Chargers offense to 18 points. And man, I'm sad that Nabers is out for the season, but I'm excited that we could get a team win like this. And Dart starts off 1-0. It's like it's hilarious. Like this is our second rookie quarterback we got that's starting off 1-0 in a game where they was not expecting him to win. And our offensive line and defensive line for the most part really kind of dominated the line of scrimmage. Now, I will say Omarion Hampton got 12 carries for 128 yards and had 2 big runs. It's time to be honest with us about Tyler Nubin. It's time to be honest about Tyler Nubin. He is not that guy. Tyler Nubin is not the kind of guy that you want. He's just not that guy. Like, Tyler Nubin is not the kind of guy you want as your last safety valve. The guy takes horrible angles, and he's the reason that this guy ran for a 54-yard touchdown. Omarion Hampton mostly today had 1 to 2 yard carries, 3-yard carries, or negative yard carries, but we allowed him to jump out the window a bunch of times. It was either no yards, short yards, or, a huge run. So still have not tightened up the run defense as far as allowing these big plays. And a lot of it is these DBs are horrible. They got horrible angles. And, it is what it is there. But overall, nice showing from the defense. And we got our first win of the season. It feels great. I wish Malik Nabers would be here next week so I could say we're gonna push for the playoffs, but you can't expect this to last forever with what we got here. But first win of the season, excited. Jaxson Dart is 1-0. You all let me know what you're thinking about this win down in the comments. First win of the season. Let's go.